Most people fail in life. Wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, but small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life. Those words from Jesus have been repeated for centuries, but what if they describe something happening in your life every single day? Most people don't fail because they're unlucky. They don't fail because they aren't talented enough. They fail because they keep choosing the easier road without realizing where it leads. Here's the surprising part. Modern psychology and neuroscience are starting to explain why this happens. Your brain is designed to save energy. It naturally prefers comfort over challenge. That's why scrolling feels easier than studying. That's why sleeping in feels better than exercising. That's why putting something off until tomorrow feels harmless. In the moment, the easy choice almost always wins. But your future is built from those tiny moments. Researchers studying habit formation have found that repeated behaviors strengthen the brain's neural pathways. Every time you repeat an action, your brain becomes a little more efficient at doing it again. In other words, your habits slowly become your default. That's why success rarely feels automatic at first. Your brain hasn't built that path yet. The Bible described this long before neuroscience existed. In the book of Proverbs, it says, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." Notice it doesn't say the smartest person wins. It points to diligence. Small choices, repeated consistently. Think about someone like Thomas Edison. Thousands of failed experiments could have convinced anyone to quit. Instead, every setback became information. He wasn't simply chasing success. He was building the habit of persistence. Or think about elite athletes. People often admire the medals but overlook the ordinary mornings. The alarm clock, the training sessions nobody applauds, the meals chosen carefully, the countless repetitions that never appear on television. Those invisible moments shape the visible results. Your own life works the same way. Maybe you've promised yourself you'll start reading tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Without noticing, years quietly pass. Psychologists call this present bias. Your mind naturally gives more value to immediate rewards than future rewards. A small pleasure today often feels more attractive than a much bigger reward later. That's why saving money feels harder than spending it. That's why building a business feels harder than watching another episode. That's why forgiveness feels harder than holding on to anger. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future. It's simply following ancient survival programming that once helped humans conserve energy when food and resources were uncertain. But the modern world constantly exploits that programming. Every notification offers instant gratification. Every advertisement promises quick happiness. Every distraction whispers that there's always more time. Eventually, the easy road becomes a habit. Here's something remarkable. Studies on delayed gratification consistently show that people who learn to pause before chasing immediate rewards tend to perform better across many areas of life. It's not because they have stronger willpower every second of the day. It's because they've trained themselves to think beyond the present moment. That's exactly what discipline really is. Not punishment, not suffering, just choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. The Apostle Paul understood this deeply. He compared life to running a race. Athletes willingly train their bodies because they're aiming for something greater than today's comfort. That comparison still makes perfect sense today. Every meaningful goal asks you to sacrifice something small now for something bigger later. Comfort today or growth tomorrow. The decision repeats itself every single day. History is full of people who looked ordinary at first. Abraham Lincoln lost elections before becoming president. Marie Curie spent years doing careful, repetitive research before changing science forever. Many successful entrepreneurs faced rejection long before anyone believed in them. What separated them wasn't a perfect life. It was their willingness to keep moving when quitting would have been easier. Failure itself wasn't the end. Giving up was. Maybe that's the part nobody talks about enough. Most successful people aren't constantly motivated. They're simply committed. Motivation comes and goes. Commitment stays. And commitment grows stronger every time you honor a promise you made to yourself. Even a tiny promise. Reading one page, doing 10 push-ups, praying for 5 quiet minutes, saving a few dollars, calling someone you've been meaning to forgive. Small actions seem insignificant because the results don't appear immediately. but compound them over months and years, and your entire life starts moving in a different direction. Jesus often taught using seeds. A seed looks almost meaningless, small, fragile, easy to ignore. Yet given enough time, it becomes something that provides shelter, fruit, and life. Your habits are seeds. Every choice plants something. The question isn't whether you're planting, it's what you're planting. If you've been feeling behind, discouraged, or convinced you've already failed, here's something worth remembering. The Bible is filled with imperfect people. Moses doubted. Peter failed. David made serious mistakes. Yet their stories didn't end there. Because failure wasn't their identity. It was a moment. Your past doesn't have the final word unless you allow it to. Today gives you another choice. Not to become perfect overnight, not to transform your entire life before sunset, just to take one faithful step, one honest decision, one difficult conversation, one healthy habit, one prayer, one act of discipline. It may not look impressive today, but neither does a seed before it becomes a tree. Most people fail in life because they keep waiting for a different future while repeating the same choices. Your future begins changing the moment your choices do. And sometimes, the smallest step on the narrow path becomes the beginning of the biggest transformation in your life.